We don't often get a very lengthy Saturday statement from you clarifying the president's remarks from the day prior. Can you walk through what the genesis of that was and whether or not you guys thought that perhaps it would be politically problematic had those statements been allowed to stand?
So we just wanted to be, you're talking about so we just wanted to be very clear on that, which is why we put out a statement. It seemed like there was some confusion on that, and so, you know, I want to say this: it was, some of you were there. It was loud and hard to hear, I think, or maybe not exactly what was being said, but I currently don't want to get into punditry from here and why we did it or do it or you know paid or did it on TV. But I spoke to this over the weekend. The president's words, we believe, were twisted. And we were very clear about that. And anyone who knows Joe Biden knows he comes from a coal country, from Scranton, Pennsylvania. His great-grandfather was a mining engineer, as you all know. President Biden knows that the men and women of coal country built this nation, and he has spent his presidency fighting for coal communities so that they too can benefit from the energy transition we're in right now. Again, the reason why we put out that statement to you asked me about the genesis. We believe his words were twisted, and we just wanted to make sure there was some clarity.
You mentioned about the president's statement, or what the president said on Saturday regarding coal. You mentioned a couple times, or repeated a couple times today, that those words were twisted. So who twisted them? Did Manchin twist them? Did someone else twist them?
It's how it was reported out was being twisted. So if you, and I want to be really clear because this is important, if you read the full transcript, the president was very clear commenting on a fact of economics and technology, as it has been from its earliest days as an energy superpower. America is once again in the midst of an energy transition, and the president is determined to make sure that this transition helps all Americans, and he's been very clear about that. And these weren't some novel comments as they were taken and twisted to be. The president has talked for years about this energy transition and the need to support coal communities through it, and so it was twisted by many others, and so we wanted to make sure that there was some clarity.
You said that the president is fighting for coal communities, but just to follow up, that doesn't mean that he's fighting to keep these coal mines open, does it?
Look, the president, I laid out very clearly about how the president sees his part in this and what he has done. You know, he has you know, through the work of Working Group on Coal and Power Plant Communities, President Biden has already delivered more than $23 billion to energy communities across the country. He has put forward plans that are bringing new energy and manufacturing jobs to states like West Virginia, to states like Pennsylvania. And he has secured critical investment through the Inflation Reduction Act to support coal communities as well. Which he believes is incredibly important, which is why it was included in the Inflation Reduction Act. And that's from funding for coal miners suffering from respiratory challenges to billions of dollars in loans to help them seize new energy opportunities. So again, you know, I mentioned this, I just laid this out. While we're trying to help coal communities, while we're trying to do everything that we can to make sure that they have the funding that they need, Republicans, that very same policy, same monies that I just laid out, Inflation Reduction Act, which is where it's coming from, Republicans want to repeal that, taking away the efforts that we're trying to provide for coal communities.
So that sounds like you're helping them as the market through economic transition is moving away from coal. That doesn't sound like you're taking any deregulatory efforts or any steps to help the mines themselves stay open. Is that correct?
Look, I've been very clear. The president's been very clear on this. Don't have anything more to add. Again, we believe what he was trying to say was twisted, and we've laid that down very clearly. You heard from my statement. You heard from what I just said here today.
Twist those words. He said we're shutting those plants down.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, Phil.
Different
Take
question.
President Biden made a pledge last night during the New York rally to approve, quote, no more drilling for oil. But does he see that as being in conflict with his efforts to lower gas prices?
So no, we don't see that in conflict. Look, the president was asked about new drilling in the Arctic, and when the Trump administration opened the Arctic refuge for drilling, not a single major oil company actually bid on the sale. And so there is no shortage of opportunity for these companies to produce oil here in the United States. They're sitting on 9,000, you've heard us talk about this, 9,000 unused but approved drilling permits.
He said last Thursday in New Mexico that oil companies, quote, should be drilling more, and that if they were drilling more, we would have more relief at the pump. So does he see that statement as being in conflict with the Sunday statement? Should they be drilling more or less for oil?
So again, oil companies are sitting on 9,000 unused but approved drilling permits. They're sitting on them. And again, there's no shortage or opportunity for companies to produce oil here in the United States, 9,000 unused permits. And the president has been clear that rather than using their record profits to pad shareholders' pockets, these companies need to ramp up production and also lower gas prices. It is something that the president believes that can be done.
Thanks, Green.
Okay, thanks, everybody.
Thanks.